I saw the interview with Jared Kushner on Lex Friedman, and Kushner said that Trump always liked to leave people with a 10% chance that he might nuke them, which is horrible. I say it with a smirk because I get the showmanship of it, but there is something to the unpredictability, the belief that that person is dangerous and that it is merely strategy that keeps them in check. There is something to that.
No question.
And at that level, to pretend that that isn't real is to set yourself up for disaster. In fact, I'd like to introduce my favorite Thomas Sowell quote, which my audience will have heard me say a gazillion times. The last 50 years have been marked by exchanging what worked for what sounds good. And that feels like a lot of the policies, a lot of the ways that we talk about young men, toxic masculinity, all of that is, it sounds nice. It would be nice if we lived in a world where everybody could just be kind and gentle, but we don't. And so you wear thin the armor of civilization when you teach men to be weak.
You know how in families, there's typically the one person everybody fears and respects. When they die, there's chaos. And all of a sudden, you know, one person is taking advantage of this person or that person. My mother, her family had some money. The moment her parents died, one of her family members took over all the money and he abused everybody else. He says, "You're not going to get it. I have it now." But when mom and dad were alive, he couldn't do that. The moment they died, he bullied everybody from the money that he got. That money was supposed to go to a few people. He took it all. And he gave crumbs to people. And he became that dictator. "You're lucky I'm giving you this kind of money." No, that was their money. But because the parents didn't put anything on paper, he stole it from everybody. And he could do that. What's the moral of the story? When that alpha, when that leader is not present, bullies show up. You know, so for us, again, like this is a very chaotic time. I don't know when this is going to be released, you know, whether it's one war or the other war or this or that. We're one or two people away of being offended of World War III getting started. You know, you got 16 million to 18 million people died World War I. You know, 60 million on two. Third one, if we go at this trajectory, could be 200 million. The job that we have collectively is to try to do whatever we can to turn down the temperature, not increase it. You know, if you and your wife get into an argument and you call me and you say, "You won't believe what she said," my job isn't to say, "She said that, Tom? Oh, dude, if she would have said that to me, it's done. Are you kidding me? Doesn't she realize how amazing you are? How lucky she is to have you?" Instead, it's to say, "Tom, come on, bro. She loves you. And you know you love her. She's partly right, bro. I'm going to take her side. How could you say something like that? You're not on my side. You're on her side." Probably on this one end, but I'm telling you privately, I'd go back and try to make this work. "Screw you, Pat. Totally get it, bro. Let me know if you want to talk later." You get off the phone. I have a job, and it's called Doug. Diffuse, unify, and be the glue. We don't have a lot of Dougs around the world today. We have division today. We have divisiveness today. So, but if there's that one strong personality, leader of the free world, a Churchill, a Reagan, a person you don't want to mess with, the world is typically a safe place.
Yeah, that is, it is maybe a balanced place where the level of danger that is always ready to pop off is currently held at bay. But I think the reason that cycle works, where strong men make good times make weak men, so on and so forth, works is because when things are good, the seed of its own instability is present because of that loop. And I don't know that there's any way to escape it. It's one of the things that makes history so predictable.
I agree.
Now, Churchill's a fascinating character. In fact, this will be fun because I never get anybody that can talk about Churchill. I absolutely am just blown away by Churchill. And you can say what you want, and did he have his flaws? Of course he did. But this is a guy that felt he had let his country down in a military, this is World War I. He makes a mistake leading the Navy, and he says, "Okay, I know exactly how to come back from this. I'm going to," even though he could have just gone back to England, he says, "No, put me on the front line." And so he goes to the front line, and he said other people didn't want to walk with him on the night patrols because he would just talk out loud. And they're like, bro, we're going to get shot. Like, what are you doing? And he said to his mother, I have such a need to earn a reputation for physical courage that I'll basically do anything. And so he stays on the front line, multiple times narrowly escapes getting killed, sees countless people die around him, and said to himself, okay, now after, I forget how long, but it was a long time, again, all voluntary. He's like, now I've earned my way back to Parliament. And he goes back to England and re-engages in government life. And I just thought, whoa, like, I'm not even saying I could do it, but I'm saying I admire it. And I'm saying that men ought to have that kind of courage. And that, to me, we've had 70 years where we really, on our own soil, where we have not had to face violence and danger. I'm not taking anything away from the men and women that have served overseas, obviously. But there's something that still let our country's psyche be lulled into the sense that we don't need men standing on the wall protecting us. And that worries me.
Military, meaning we don't need a military?
Yeah, basically. I mean, so I was quoting the line from A Few Good Men, where he's like, men like me. And the thing is, I hope what we were supposed to take away from that is that he's a complicated character. And yes, some of the things he did were despicable, but he's also right. And that's what keeps him from being a caricature, is you are asking people to risk being shot. You're asking them to kill other people. I mean, it is horrific, horrific. And there is an evolutionary seed inside, certainly inside the male brain, that makes that very possible.
You know, if there's anything, like any man that wants to earn, forget about, you know, should I go become rich? Should I go have a six pack? Should I be in shape? Should I do this? If you pursue anything, if you earn moral authority, you're going to have a lot of self-respect. You'll have self-respect in the way you lead your wife and your kids. You'll have self-respect in the companies you lead. And you'll have self-respect in a community. Does this mean you're going to be a billionaire? Not necessarily. Does it mean you're going to be a millionaire? Not necessarily. But if you earn the right and you have that moral authority, there's something to earning that. That takes years. That doesn't happen overnight. I mean, when you're telling the story with Churchill, there's something to it. There's something to, you know, a guy setting the pace from the front. There's something to earning the right. You know, there's something to it. This is why, for me, with the voting system that we have, I think our voting system is totally screwed up in America. A couple areas of it, I'm not a fan of it, because for me, I would much rather have a 16-year-old kid who has a job working at McDonald's, who made 20 grand last year and paid $3,000 in taxes. I want him to vote over the 25-year-old bum living with his mom and dad, not going to school, not getting a degree, not doing anything, for him to vote. I don't want this guy to vote. I want to hear from this 16-year-old kid. Let this guy vote. Our system is too much of, yeah, here you go. Yeah, here you go. No, earn the right to vote. Why don't you earn the right to vote? Well, just by being an American, don't I earn the right to vote? I totally get it. But you got to have some, you like, pull your little red wagon. How are you going to contribute to society? Well, that you're discriminating against. Dude, I'm from Iran. I was born in Iran. Half Armenian, half Assyrian. I'm a 1.8 GPA kid. I'm a welfare kid. I'm not a kid that came up here, was going to be something, but I wanted to come back and earn the right to say, hey, I want to earn this respect that America gave to me. I want to go do my part. I think we have to go more towards that in our house, our kids. You know, everybody's talking right now about having a phone. I don't know how many articles I've read that the more you delay your kids getting a phone, the more happier they're going to be. By the way, parents, if you're watching this, do yourself a favor and go watch the movie Disconnect. Disconnect, I don't have a phone to see who's the actor, but one of the guys is I don't know if you've seen this movie or not.
No.
Disconnect is Bateman. What's his name? Is it Jason Bateman? Is that his first name?
Certainly is.
So the guy, is that from Horrible Bosses?
Yes.
Okay, so that guy. This movie Disconnect is a story about a boy who, 12, 13, 14-year-old kid, goes to school. There's a girl he likes. These two bullies knows he likes the girl. They create a Facebook profile with the girl's picture, befriend everybody in high school thinking that's the girl, but it's not. She DMs him on Facebook in the movie. This is 11 years ago, 2012, and says, hey, please don't tell anybody, but I really like you. I'm shy. I don't want to tell others, but I like the way you're. Oh my God, I've loved you. Da, da, da. And they're going back and forth. She says, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. But it's the two boys. So the boys send a picture of somebody else they got from a porn site. He opens it. So he sends it. And then she says, but I want to see your face in it as well. So he does. The next day he goes to school. Everybody's laughing at him because those two bullies took the picture, spread it around the school. Then the boy runs away, comes home, is in his room listening to heavy metal music, is trying to hang himself. Daughter or sister walks in, prevents it from happening, and saves his life. And then they had to figure out how this happened because the parents weren't involved. There's so many different things going right now in society that we have to be aware of people earning stuff. Phones are dangerous today that kids are picking up on what can happen to them. If you do, you have to educate them. If you do, you have to hold them accountable. If you do, you have to watch and see what's going on. But in our family, everything starts with earning. The currency in our house, I've talked about this God knows how many times, is reading. You read, you earn the right. The more you read, the more you can ask for. If your grades are solid, you get to ask for more. If it's not, you don't. And people say, Pat, how could you have standards like that when you had a 1-point GPA? What does that have to do with anything? I didn't have those standards. I simply grew up in a house that nobody cared what my grades were. There was never an expectation of me doing anything my grades. So guess what? I'm going to rise up to the standards of whatever it is as a 14, 15, 16-year-old. There was no standards. So I was left alone. In our house, there is standards. There is expectations. You got to perform to it. You do, you get more. So America started off as earning. We got away from that because earn is now another one of these curse words that people don't like to talk about. How could you say something like that? How could you say something like that? All you care about is money. All you care about is this. No, man. I cared about you being proud of the contribution you're making to society, because the more proud you are of the contribution you're making to society, the safer the place is going to be. The less you contribute to society, the more bitter you're going to be, feeling like everybody owes you something, and then you could do something very bad to everybody else. So yes, I think we need to go back to earning, like when you're telling the story of Churchill, to have that moral authority.
We all live constantly connected to the internet and using it so much that we tend to forget just how dangerous of a place it can be. The reality is, every account you have, every time you input your name, your address, your phone number, you're risking your information being leaked on the dark web. It happens so often these days, it's become an inevitable risk of being on the internet. So protect yourself and your family online with today's sponsor, Aura. Aura provides all-in-one proactive protection to keep your information safe and secure online, stopping threats before they strike. From financial fraud protection, identity theft protection, parental controls, even spam call protection, and more. Aura has your back when it comes to you and your family's online security. So secure your digital life with proactive protection for your assets, identity, family, and tech across every device with Aura. Go to aura.com/impact theory to start your free 2-week trial today. That's aura.com/impact theory. If you like that clip, check out the full powerful episode here, and I'll see you there.